It is pure pandemonium in Sacramento. The Motor City meets the Farm to Ford capital. It's Detroit City FC and Sacramento Republic FC. USL Championship Saturday night here from Sacramento, California. We welcome you inside Heart Health Park. I'm Rob McAllister, and filled in for Adam Moffitt is former U.S. men's national team member, MLS All-Star, and all-around great guy, Jimmy Conrad.
Oh, thank you so much. And of course, I want to say thank you to Adam because he's given me the opportunity to see the best team, the hottest team in the USL Championship play in person, and I'm talking about the Sac Republic.
You're absolutely right. 6 weeks in, 14 points, as many goals scored as well. Defensively, they've been amazing as well. Meanwhile, Detroit, they've struggled. Two teams going in different directions here, Jimmy.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things I like to say is that confidence is a hell of a drug. And Detroit City doesn't have any. They've got 3 goals in 6 games, and they're just really struggling, hitting the back of the net, scoring that timely goal, and it's been a little frustrating. That said, they do have a couple dangerous players that I think that Sac Republic are going to have to pay attention to, but as you mentioned, so fantastic on both sides of the ball. They're doing everything right. This confidence is oozing out of their pores. I mean, everything that they're doing offensively is hitting the back of the net. Everything that they're doing defensively and the saves that they're making as well. I just hope that they can make this last the whole season.
Well, it's been quite a ride so far, and one of the best starts in USL history. Can they continue that tonight against a Detroit City team ready to score and hopefully get some points? Meanwhile, let's take a look at some of our key players of tonight. We begin with Russell Cicerone.
He's been fantastic. You know, what a signing by Todd Donovan in the front office to get him from Pittsburgh along with a few of the other starters. I know he's got the stats to back it up, 4 goals in 6 games, got an assist as well, but it's the little things that he's doing, the unselfish running, the thankless running that he's doing in different areas to open up space for other players, and of course he's got the quality to hit the back of the net as well.
And meanwhile, let's take a look for Detroit. We go to Maxi Rodriguez from San Antonio, 27 years of age, but shows a lot of promise.
He does, and I think he's a big catalyst. He's got more shots on target, more shots in general for this team than anybody else, and he's doing it from a midfield position, which really speaks to how they're trying to generate attacks. But yes, if they're going to have any success tonight, Maxi Rodriguez is going to be a big reason why.
Got a good one on our hands. USL Championship in Sacramento. It's the Republic, it's La Rouge, and it's coming up. Starting lineups are coming up right after this, so don't go away. It is pure pandemonium in Sacramento.
The fun has begun. The Apex at Red Hawk Resort Casino is now Northern California's premier family fun destination. Get your heart racing on this spectacular 3-level indoor kart track. If bowling is up your alley, there are 18 lanes of fun at the Apex, plus a mind-blowing virtual reality arcade, incredible golf simulators, and one of the best sports bars anywhere. We're taking entertainment to a whole new level. It's the Apex at Red Hawk Resort Casino.
How do you build a community that thrives? By staying active, by working and playing together, and by building strong bones and bodies with food that's simple, local, and fresh. Crystal Creamery has proudly supported Central Valley athletes and athletic programs since 2012. Because when you nourish a community, the community thrives. Crystal Creamery, simple, local, fresh.
This is the look of a woman who fought cancer for years with no answers. A woman who bravely championed her own health and found a doctor who'd do the same. A woman whose ending was rewritten when she found remission. UC Davis Health. From the extraordinary to the routine, we're discovering healthy and changing real people's lives right here in the Sacramento region. UC Davis Health. Discovering healthy.
A defender out of North Carolina, number 24, Connor. From Vancouver, Washington, defender number 40, out there. From Venezuela, midfielder number 29, Arnold. Out of New York, midfielder number 90.
Tonight's presentation is brought to you in part by UC Davis Health. and by Western Health Advantage. Let's begin with our starting 11 for Sacramento Republic FC, led by Mark Briggs, 3-4-3. The only change, Aldair Sanchez in for Dami Villader, but a potent lineup nonetheless, Jimmy.
No question. I mean, this is a lineup that has done some wonderful things this season, especially in the last 2 home games, scoring 3 goals in each of the first halves. So I think they're going to see a fast start from this group. I really like the back line. I'm saying this as a former defender, but you got Wheat, Donovan, and Timmer. They've played every single minute of the season, and I think that consistency is super important for why they're so good on that side of the ball.
And for Detroit City FC, couple of changes, a lot of inconsistency in their lineup. What will we see? We might see 4 in the back. They've had a couple of different changes in that formation as well.
Yeah, I think what's hurting Detroit City this particular season is a lack of consistency in their lineup. They've had a lot of turnover. They're welcoming Emu Mensah back into the team. He had a ACL tear last season. This is his first game, so we'll see what he looks like. I think Sac Republic need to get after him and really test him, but look out for Ben Morris up top. He's got a lot of his speed, a lot of experience, played for the U17 England national team, so he had some injuries as well, but we'll see if he can re-find his form here for Detroit City.
Detroit City led by Trevor James in his second season, trying to get this club back on track. Had a great start a year ago. This year's not been quite the same. There's the whistle blows, and here we go from Sacramento. It's the Republic and Les Rouges in week number 7, the USL Championship. Sacramento, the Black Kits, and it's the mint shorts and white tops for Detroit City FC. What do you expect for the first 10 minutes here? What will we see from Detroit City? And will they be aggressive? Will they sit back? What do you think?
Well, we had an opportunity to talk to Coach Mark Briggs ahead of this game, and he mentioned that every team that's come to play against Sac Republic here at Heart Health Park has tried to go toe-to-toe with them to try to play, and that hasn't worked out for any of the teams that have stepped foot here at the stadium. But he expects Detroit City, who have been very stout defensively themselves, to maybe sit back, park the bus, I think is the familiar phrase, but he's put a whole bunch of numbers behind the ball, and that'll be an opponent that Sac hasn't really seen just yet. How are they going to break down that low block? So it'll be a good test for these guys in black tonight.
Shane Wheat getting ahead to it. Shane Wheat in that left center back position, coming over from Pittsburgh a year ago. Led the club in tackles, and he has not missed a beat here. Lee Desmond still out on injury, working his way back. But Shane Wheat, Jared Timmer, and Connor Donovan all making a strong case to Mark Briggs that those 3 should be kept in the lineup for the time being. Here's Keko getting the start. Sebastian Herrera is back in the 18 after a couple weeks off from a hamstring injury. We may see him later in the game, depending on how this one plays out.
I actually like that early long ball there from Keko, because I think it sends a message to Detroit City that they're looking for it, right? The Cicerone is looking to get in behind, and ultimately you keep looking for that. Maybe one time it's on, but if it's not, it opens up space in front of that back 4. So we're kind of curious to see what Keko does in his decision-making moving forward.
Jalen Robinson on this right side, MLS experience with DC United, USL, Pittsburgh, Phoenix, Richmond as well. Quick tap here. They're going to try to spring Connor Rutz forward a little bit. We've seen some opportunities. Look at Richard Ballard, though, playing higher. Rutz had a really nice strike in that 3-1 victory over El Paso, the only victory for Detroit City this year. Win as an own goal as it bounced off of Yuma. But nonetheless, those are the type of goals you just hate as a striker, because you did everything right, and unfortunately you don't get the score book to go with you.
No doubt.
Here's Keko inside. Takes a deflection, working here. Sanchez! It may have taken a bit of a deflection, but Roro will get to it and keep it in possession for Sacramento.
Yeah, one of the things I've loved about the Republic so far this season is their desire to get forward. Anytime there's a ball that goes out wide, you can see 3, 4, 5 guys get into the box. That's the confidence that I was talking about before the game kicked off. When you know that you're so stout defensively, you're not going to make too many mistakes on that side of the ball, you're willing to take those risks to get into the box. And so the Republic need to do more of that, because it's putting a lot of teams under pressure.
Republic off to a 4-0-2 start, unbeaten through 6. Also winning the Open Cup 5-4. And you just look at how many goals, 14 goals scored in the last 4 matches.
That's pretty good, right?
Overall.
I was a math major, but I didn't graduate, Rob.
And 0 goals allowed here in USL play, just 1 coming back. That was way back in Charleston Battery here, back in week 2, and that was when the Republic were even down a man for a certain point of time. So defensively, obviously as a defense guy, I know you love this, and the units working together. easier said than done to keep teams scoreless the way they have, especially the teams that Republic have faced early on.
No question. And then, of course, you need your goalkeeper to step up and make some saves, which he's done with some real class. That timely save is really important.
Gurr sending this cross in, and Nate Steinwasser is able to get there right before Aldair Sanchez. But how active Jack Gurr has been this year. Mark Briggs challenging Jack in the offseason to get up more in the attack. He wants to see more goals, more assists. Last year, just 1 goal, 3 assists. This year, already 2 goals and 2 assists, along with 11 chances created. That's another one right there. He has just been a top performer, really one of the best in all of USL from that right side.
No question. And I think his combination play, I think that Roro's done a nice job too of finding him and getting him involved, so that when Jack Gurr makes that pass in the midfield, he can run with purpose. Sometimes you see players, they make the pass and they don't know if they're going to get it back. So do they want to make that commitment and run 30, 40 yards with a 50% maybe getting that ball back, knowing that if you lose it, you're going to have to track another 40, 50 yards to go back? But I think with the way that they're set up under Mark Briggs, they've done a really nice job of bringing both of their wing backs into it. But I think Jack Gurr has really, really excelled on the right side this season.
Detroit here looking for an opportunity. Bring it down. Here's Ben Morris to his left foot. Able to get around, sneaking through. And again, Arnold Lopez, time and time again this season, has just been a cog in that defensive wheel and stopping momentum, preventing balls from being crossed in and getting good looks for the opponent.
Yeah, I'd probably go out on a limb and say, and maybe you agree with me, Rob, that Arnold Lopez is probably the real MVP of this whole thing, the unsung hero, doing a lot of the dirty work, protecting that back three, really allowing Luis Felipe, excuse me, in general to go forward and be a little bit more box to box. So it's been impressive from him, and just that discipline just to stay in that spot.
Connor Donovan battling a little bit of chance there taken to send that ball out. Our referee is Jeremy Shear tonight. And as a defender, how much did you love a midfielder who was just gritty and able to really make an impact on the game night after night?
Oh, yeah, I play with that player all day, every day. There's no question.
Luis Felipe finding Keko. Republic looking to build here. Lopez giving all kinds of freedom just to work through the circle.
I think that just shows you what Detroit City wants to do or who they're allowing to have the ball.
Jack Gurr to the corner. Keko, little overstep, but gets there with his left foot. Over the top, and it's Michael Bryant, who has been critical to the team's success. The captain out of Portola Hills, California, has been a key member of that back line for Detroit City and Trevor James' side, and does this team a service there by sending it away. But it's the Atlas Disposal first corner kick of the game, and Rodrigo Lopez, of course, will take this. Leads the team in chances created with 18, also the USL Championship. And of course, a legend here in Sacramento, looking to get Republic on the board with a set piece. Donovan, and it just skirts off to the right side. He knew he had a golden opportunity there.
Oh, that was a tantalizing set piece there from Rodrigo Lopez. Really, really good service. I would be salivating at that opportunity. I scored a couple headers back in my day, and I think that Connor Donovan probably want that one back. But I want to give a shout out to Nate Steinwasser. I mean, he's been unbelievable in goal. Arguably one of the most impressive players in all of USL, just making so many big saves to keep Detroit City in a lot of their games.
Just 4 points on the year, 1-4-1, a -2 goal differential. And we talked about it in the pregame, haven't scored in more than a month now. Confidence-wise, what does that do to a team? And builds a lot of pressure in trying to put in the back of the net.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, because if you're a team that doesn't score a lot, that puts a lot of tension on your group overall. Everybody has to be perfect. The defense has to be perfect. Nate Steinwasser in goal has to be perfect. And that starts to build up. And only a goal can release that type of pressure. So for them, I think they're trying to probably get the game 0-0 at halftime. If they can steal a goal, they'll take it, of course. But then maybe in the second half, they'll start to open up and look for those opportunities. But right now, it just seems like they're just trying to absorb the possession and the pressure that Sacramento's putting on them.
Rodriguez battling here in the midfield, and it's Lopez able to come away with it. And here's Aldair Sanchez, a 20-year-old, joined as a trialist, given an opportunity, and he has made the best of it and getting the start tonight, his first on the year. Keko turning, plays into the corner. Gurr whipping this ball in, chance for Cicerone. Here's Luis Felipe, crowd wanting it, and it scores through! What a goal, Luis Felipe, number 4 on the year. They keep coming, they keep making runs, and good things keep happening to the Sacramento Republic. They're up a goal here in the 9th minute.
Oh, injected straight into my veins, Luis Felipe. Unbelievable. I feel like I've seen this before.
Over and over again.
Luis Felipe making a back post run, joining the attack late from across, from out wide, from Jack Gurr, and it leads to an early goal in the first half for the Sac Republic. A fantastic finish. They've been doing this over and over and over, and they've been doing it consistently. And you have to think that Trevor James, the coach of Detroit City, knows that this is coming. The players are prepared for this, and yet they can't stop it, which really speaks to the quality of Sac Republic and just the numbers they get into the box here. Good heads-up play by Cicerone, but Luis Felipe, hey, you never score if you don't shoot. He finds himself in a good spot. He's got a ton of confidence, like we said at the top of the game. And now they've got that 1-0 lead. It's going to be very difficult for Detroit City to find their way back into this.
We see a lot of teams and individuals make great efforts. I don't know if I've seen a Republic team in 10 years have this many team-like goals than what we're seeing here in 2023.
Yeah, and I think that should make everybody happy that supports this club. And the fact that you are missing a couple players that could maybe help make this even better, but it doesn't matter. You've created an identity. And I think what happens is when a coach establishes an identity of how we want to play, and the players go out and execute that identity at a high level, then the buy-in from the players just continues to grow and grow and grow. And I think that's what we're seeing here with the Sac Republic this season.
Turn over here, Ballard looking for an opportunity. Out wide it comes, and just a misstruck ball coming in from the left side. Ben Morris misses a golden opportunity to get his first goal on the year.
Really unacceptable, I think, for Ben Morris. This is a player that has a lot of quality. Came through the Ipswich Town Youth Academy. He's been around, he's seen some things. As I mentioned in the pregame show, he's been on the youth national teams for England. He just needs to take a touch here, but you gotta respect Detroit City's pressure. I really like what they're doing here. Good pass there from Rich Ballard, and that just has to be on frame. You have to make the goalkeeper make a save in that situation.
Meanwhile, Sacramento running again. Here comes Lopez into the 18. He's gonna serve this ball in. And it's going to go off the head of Jalen Robinson. Our inactive report brought to you by Delta Dental Lee. Desmond is out, Dami Villader, as well as Stephen Carroll and Matt Lewis are out for Detroit City FC. And here's another corner kick opportunity for Sacramento. Mark Briggs wants to see more goals, more good looks come off of these set pieces for the Republic here. Just 2 set piece goals in 2023. Rodrigo Lopez. Jack Gurr crosses this ball instead. Here comes Shane Whedon flying through the air. And Steinwasser may have just been able to bump Shane Wheat just enough off a frame there, but Sacramento almost scoring the second goal in the 12th minute.
Yeah, and guess who was involved again? Rodrigo Lopez and Jack Gurr. Obviously one's off a set piece, but the team does a very good job of, hey, if it's tight in the middle, we're gonna get the ball out wide. And Jack Gurr has been timing his runs to perfection, and then he whips in a great, dangerous ball, which unfortunately Wheat didn't get his head on, but it was a good look there. And here we take another look at how this all unfolds. But Jack Gurr's in a good spot, ready to play it back into the mixer, as they say, and just a little off from making this one 2-0. Steinwasser, I think, does enough to maybe put him off, gets a little bit of a nudge when he goes up. Always gonna be a bit of a tough header there, but I appreciate his bravery.
You know, if he came down awkwardly or ran to one of his own players, but that would be a big loss here if they have to go make a change in one of the goalkeeper positions. And you look at some of the hard times this Detroit team has already fallen on this year. I mean, this is a team we talked about, haven't scored in 35 days, and they just haven't been able to put the ball in the back of the net. And compared to last year where they really started hot, and as Republic played them early on in June, they were undefeated. They hadn't been beaten, and they were one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, and it slipped a little bit toward the end. But this year has been much different. It looks like Steinwasser will be okay. But if you're Trevor James, you don't have a big roster. You've got some key guys. You lost some big names like Antoine Hopino was one of the players gone. Declan Wynn, Pato, another guy. And that was 18 goals and 19 assists, no longer on this team.
Yeah, Hopino is, I think, the one that hurts them the most because he led the league in assists last year. He had 11. That's not easy to replicate. But then when you bring in these different players, Ben Morris is a great example. He has an unbelievable chance to equalize and get this game back to 1-1. That's why you brought him in. That's why he has that experience. And then for him to not even make Sacramento suffer in that situation, I think really kind of speaks to where Detroit City is at this very moment. I'm a big fan of Trevor James. I think he's a fantastic manager. I love the fans. Shout out to all the Detroit City fans that are out there watching this one, and I think this team will end up making the playoffs. I just think they've had so much turnover. They've had some injury. They've had guys that are not in form. They just haven't really locked in their identity for right now, but they've got plenty of time to change that.
Deep in the corner for Gurr. And, you know, talking to the guys last year, one of their favorite places on the road was playing in Detroit. It's a hostile environment. Fans are right on top. I mean, it was an unbelievable experience. Obviously, the win was great. They win 2-0, but they felt that there was a great fan base and they really enjoyed playing there. They don't say that for every road team, let's put it that way.
No, it's definitely one of my bucket list items is to get out to Detroit to catch a DCFC game, and I hope I get to do that very, very soon. And hopefully it's in a better way. I know that I wish I could go on Tuesday when they play Minnesota United in the US Open Cup. After what they did last year, taking down the Columbus Crew, it'd be very cool to see them take another MLS scalp, but we'll end up seeing if they can do it or not.
Yeah, yeah, right. Columbus Crew 2-1. They advanced. The round of 32, unfortunately, would lose to Louis City, but another chance to make some history against Minnesota United later this week. Sacramento will take on the Oakland Roots. And registration for Republic FC summer camps and clinics now available in addition to lifelong memories. Each camp will take home a ticket to an upcoming match and ball. For more information, visit sacrepublicfc.com, camps and clinics. Detroit 1-2-1 on the road this year. Republic unbeaten with 3 wins and a draw. And Les Rouges find themselves down a goal off of Luis Felipe, an assist from Russell Cicerone, his 3rd assist on the campaign. Into the corner it goes, and good defending again by Jack Gurr.
Yeah, we see a good look right now at Sac Republic. Got a line of 5, line of 6 there in the back line. I mean, that's why this commitment to get back behind the ball, to be difficult to break down, is the reason that they've only given up 1 goal this season. Obviously, we could argue that some of these other teams haven't taken their chances, and that's all part of it. And this is going to crumble at some point. I think the big key for me when I watch any teams is when things aren't going well, how quickly can you regain your composure, whether it's in-game or during a full season. If you lose 1, does that turn into 3 losses? Or if you lose 1, you're just going to be right back at it and winning again, right? That's really the sign of a team or any kind of team or mentality that they have. And I think Sac Republic just have so much confidence they can play through any situation. Detroit City, I'm not so sure, but we got plenty of time to see if they can or not.
Well, Detroit City may be employing more of a high press now after going down a goal. And Maxi Rodriguez, 1 goal on the year. And Yazid Matthews, who's on the bench, leads the team with 2 goals, 1 in Open Cup and 1 against El Paso. Just trying to find some answers up top. Meanwhile, good possession here, trying to break through. Simonson working along that touchline. Aldair Sanchez, a 20-year-old. He is a tough player. They love his grittiness. They love his service ability, and he has been quite impressive and filled in for Dami Villader, who scored the 1st goal against Detroit City in the win last year. Then Keko added another in the 2nd half.
Yeah, I love his backstory. I love everything about it. The fact that you have a system that can identify diamonds in the rough, and then for him to get that opportunity to play and prove himself is fantastic.
Keko tried to find Cicerone. Would have been offside anyway. It's probably going to work out a little bit better. Going to find Gurr. Go on the right side. Coming through is Rodrigo Lopez, and just not the right angle, and it's able to get to Nate Steinwasser. It breaks up what it could have been another goal-scoring opportunity for Sacramento. Meanwhile, the counter coming for Detroit. Good, dangerous ball, and this one's crossed it. Vidiello's going to come out for it as Ballard able to get to it instead. Vidiello's going to backpedal. Detroit showing some life here early. Ballard. And stays in play. Detroit still. Republic have relaxed just a bit. Could be dangerous. This one coming through. And it'll be a throw.
This is worth the price of admission, Rob. This has been end to end, and I am absolutely here for it. Good sequence there, too, from Sac Republic to get into a good spot. Jack Gurr once again just timing his run to perfection. I'm sure he's going to want that cross back, but just so dangerous in transition. And we talked to Mark Briggs a couple days ago, and he said, because we asked him point blank, what do you have to work on? you're awesome going forward. You're great defensively. What is there to work on? He said we can fine tune. We can be cleaner in transition. We can be better on set pieces. We can be more ruthless. And they're showing elements of that tonight. But in that transition, we saw one there. Jacker just got to have a little bit more quality in that cross. But then, of course, there is some vulnerability. When you start to commit numbers going forward, if Detroit City got a little bit cleaner on their end, it could have been 1-1, but it's still 1-0.
The mentality this year, it's kind of the 3 H's, hungry, humble, and horrible. And being a bit horrible means on the field, humble off of the field. But the hunger part, I think they've shown that they're willing to work for it. I think what Mark wants is that nastiness that they've shown a bit, but that technical finish is also maybe a part of that. Just being horrible to play against him. He thinks some of these games, 4-0, 5-0 wins, could have been even more. Coaches are never happy, right?
No, they're never happy. You can't be satisfied for sure. But I think in that last sequence where Jack didn't hit a great cross, that's going to be one of those moments where Mark says, hey, we got to kill the game off. We have an opportunity to put this game to bed. And they've done a good job in the last 2 home games, scoring 3 goals in the first half.
Morris angling in. Will send this ball low. Jared Timmer will clear it away. Well, it's $5 beer night at Heart Health Park on April 26th as Oakland Roots come to town for the 3rd round of the U.S. Open Cup kickoff at 7 o'clock. Tickets are starting at just $14. Of course, the incredible run. You were here for the match against Sporting KC, your former MLS club. And what a night that was. And so we appreciate it. Was a Jimmy Conrad 1-0 record so far, trying to make it 2-0. Is your opportunity.
I picked a great time. Sac Republic's playing great. Detroit City's still trying to figure things out, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from Detroit now. You almost wish, and I'm sure Trevor James, their manager, thinks the same thing. Why didn't we just start the game this way? They sat back a little bit. Now they're playing on the front foot, asking questions of Sac Republic, and getting corners, getting crosses, poking around. This is the type of intensity they're going to need to get back into this game. Right now, I think the Sac Republic's dropped off maybe a little bit too much. Nothing too threatening, but you know, the more you allow that to happen, the more better chances are going to be created, and that's where it starts to get real dangerous.
It will be a goal kick as Aldair Sanchez and Maxi Rodriguez go shoulder to shoulder. Well, choosing the right health plan for you and your family is simple. With Western Health Advantage, check out affordable weight plans. They have been helping our community strong for over 25 years. Go online to westernhealth.com. Danny Vitiello, 4-0-2 as a starter, 5 shutouts, 16 saves, and of course, just the 1 goal allowed against Charleston Battery back in week 2 here at home.
That ball from Arnold Lopez is unbelievable because it unlocks all the pressure that Detroit City is trying to have. And now they can really get at him on the front foot. Anytime that you have Roro Lopez on the ball and he can look up is always a good thing. It didn't work out in this one, but it's just a sign of intent and the quality that Sac Republic possess. I mean, we talk about some of these other attacking players, but when Arnold Lopez is whipping 60-yard balls to switch the point of attack to get out of some pressure, you got some quality on this team that you should be proud of, all you Sac Republic fans.
Especially as your holding midfielder, defensive guy, looking to just muck up the game a little bit, and he serves ball like that, springing guys forward. And again, Sebastian Herrera, number 1, number 9 on this team. He is on the bench tonight, back from injury, but will he see action? Maybe not. Maybe they get him a little run, but they'd probably like to save him for Wednesday if possible against Oakland. And a misstruck there ball by Steinwasser, and then the ensuing throw leads to a little bit of a push from Maxi Rodriguez, and now a set piece and really good veteran play by Rodrigo Lopez to set up this, Jimmy.
He's a crafty veteran, 35-year-old doing his thing. He's been around, he's seen some things, and got himself a nice free kick in a dangerous area. We'll see. This is what Mark Briggs wanted to see. Can they execute on set pieces?
Steinwasser double punch away, and the foul on Cicerone coming in inside the 6. They'll set up a goal kick for Detroit City FC, and like most strikers, they can't believe they committed a foul.
Yeah, I don't have time for a lot of strikers, to be honest, as a former center back. But I get what he's saying, that when you go up for a ball and the goalkeeper jumps into you, what are you supposed to do? You're just playing the ball. but there does seem to be an unspoken rule that the goalkeepers get overly protected by the referees, and it's just part of the game. So
and we saw that
Russell
a lot.
will get over it.
We saw that a lot last year, where it was almost too much in favor one way or the other, and almost like protecting the quarterback in football, and it can be difficult for strikers, and for many of those who, even another defender coming inside the box, as Keko is brought down. Will we see a booking beyond that? I don't think it's enough from Amamunsa. But it's at least a warning, and you can see it there from Jeremy Shear saying, no more of that for the 26-year-old.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Devin Amamunsa back into the team. His first minutes of this season after tearing his ACL. I think that shows a little bit of rust. He seems just in a hurry to make that play. Okay, Keko gets to it first, no big deal. Just usher him towards the sideline. Wait for some help there, and it just felt like he lacked a little patience. But he's going to get sharper as the season goes along, and I think he's a great player. I'm excited to see how he continues to perform after this injury.
The captain, Rodrigo Lopez, one more time on a set piece. Ball driven up. Here comes Shane Wheat. Over the crossbar. That's twice tonight, though. The Akron, Ohio native coming in. Most active we've really seen him on set pieces. You got to probably think, you know, if you're going to start to nitpick at things, probably want some goals from your back line this year, right?
Oh, that would help, of course. Anytime that some of the defenders can chip in on the offensive side, it's great. He's going to want that one back. Just mistimed his jump slightly. Maybe he thought he was going to get a nudge, but that's a pretty clean look. And I know that Coach Briggs is going to be pretty disappointed that they're not getting that second goal to really put this game out of reach.
Keko, a little bit of a display himself. Here's Simonson working through the center of the park. And again, Jared Timmer, time and time again this year, have just made the small play that has just been so impactful. Bryant trying to get to it, gets ahead to it, misdirects it. Keko was the intended target here. And again, the center back is come in and played in different roles. He's a midfielder really by initial trade, but it was moved to center back because of the injuries this club suffered, and has pretty much held that as a starting role coming in 2023. Well, there's a missed opportunity, unfortunately, for Detroit City. Slows it up, but they'll get it back. Crystal Creamery has been building strong bones and bodies with the freshest dairy from the Central Valley since 1901, taking pride in delivering dairy you can trust. Grab a glass and taste how fresh local can be. Simple, local, fresh.
I think it's interesting when you change positions because of a necessity of your team due to injury, suspension, whatever it is. If I had to move, and I was traditionally in midfield and had to move to the back line, I just wouldn't complicate the game. I would make everything simple. And I think that kind of speaks to the ethos of what Mark Briggs wants from his team, especially that back line. Don't be anything that you're not. Just play what you see. We already have enough playmakers. Just get the ball to those guys, be stout defensively, be hard to play against, be organized, talk, and we're going to be in a good spot. And that's what we're seeing. And that execution from every line of the field from Sac Republic has been immense this season.
Sanchez, a nice job to get it off McCabe, and will turn the throw. Republic #1 in the power rankings. Meanwhile, Detroit at the very bottom, unfortunately, number 24. But 10th in the Eastern Conference, still has plenty of time to move up, get into that playoff picture. They did add O'Neal Fisher,
the Jamaican international,
MLS experience, and that may mean that some of the guys who are on the back line moving up in the midfield, and gives them another option, and a guy who's obviously proven he can play just about anywhere and have an impact.
Yeah, we're seeing another, for me, emotional foul from Detroit City. This is a lack of composure, I would say, that they're getting frustrated. And sure, okay, maybe Cicerone's making a meal of it, whatever it may be, but the calls aren't going your way, and it feels like at times when you're seeing one of your leaders in your team start to get frustrated, that starts to trickle around everybody else, and then you start to lose your composure as a group collectively, and it's just a lot harder to get back into the game when you're getting overly emotional. You're losing that control that you need to have, I think, to see it out, to get that result over 90 minutes.
If you're wondering who's that voice, it's not Adam Moffat. The accent is gone, and it's Jimmy Conrad. And thanks for joining us. We're so thrilled you're here on the broadcast, as now Detroit's looking to make a little bit moves of their own. Unfortunately, the referee involved again, and Timmer goes back. And this a little bit all around the pitch here.
Silky.
Nicely done. And look at this, playing it right into the bucket in front of Keko. Making a run, Sanchez in support. Keko just trying to find a space, and too much. Le Rouge was able to get back here on that possession. And a hard challenge as Wheat stood his ground, and Bryant went right into him. And with that pause, it allows us to hear a word from our sponsor at SMUD.
With SMUD rebates, you'll save big. Save money and save the planet for generations to come. Get rebates up to $3,500 from SMUD on clean power appliances, electric vehicles, and much more at cleanpowercity.org.
So the plus 11 goal differential is the best mark in club history through 6 league games for Sacramento Republic. Sanchez taking advantage.
Yeah, just the body language there from Simonson. He lays it off to Ballard. Ballard's not ready for it. He gets emotional, right? It's starting to see that ripple effect that I'm talking about, where things just aren't going their way. They had an opportunity to potentially get something going. Somebody bobbles it, and now it's a transition the other way like we're seeing right now.
Sanchez played it into some space and just a bit mishit. Morris again attacking just outside the 18, and Timmer able to make a nice defensive play. And I know as a defensive guy, you love that hustle and effort by Jared Timmer.
Oh, I love that. Reminds me of me back in the day, Rob. I absolutely love, or you have to find your way in. You thought you did a good job of holding an offside line. He wasn't offside, so you got to track and get back in. And here's a good look at it. Good first touch there. But Timmer does very well to let Ben Morris said it wasn't going to be easy. Goes off of Ben Morris, goal kick. I love that kind of defending, Rob.
What makes Jared Timmer so special, we joked about in the last broadcast, we don't say his name a lot because he's rarely in the picture because he's defended so well before the ball arrives to his opponent, and he's already got a nice mention from you. So he's up already.
That's a badge of honor if I've ever heard one.
Keko all the way deep here. And with this formation, you'll see Roro and Keko have a lot of room to operate. Lose chances for Luis Felipe to get back up, and see Sanchez and Jack Gurr play higher.
And that's because there's solidity in other areas, right? Arnold Lopez is going to stay right where he is. The back three is going to stay right where they are. Russell Cicerone does a nice job of staying in between the two center backs.
Meanwhile, Detroit looking for a big swing, and opportunity there was Richard Ballard, denied again by Jared Timmer. Played in again, holding, playing it forward, looking for Robinson this time. And it'll be Danny Vidiello to go to ground to snuff this out one more time. A 9th-minute Luis Felipe goal from Russell Cicerone is the difference here a half hour in.
That's good from Detroit City. I feel like when they play with a little bit more urgency, even in other games that they've participated in this season, it's not when they need to bypass the midfield, but when they just play one or two touch, get the ball off their feet, and really try to play on the front foot and dictate the action. I like that version of Detroit City. When they sit back and have to react instead of being anticipatory, that version isn't doing very well. They don't seem as connected, don't seem as organized. But when they put those sequences together, it's good, and they're in that attacking third in a meaningful way, but now they just got to get that last touch to score.
Gert, cross, Sanchez looking to get there and headed away by Jalen Robinson, another deep throw.
Yeah, great defending there from Jalen Robinson. It's not easy to do that back post defending. You got to stay disciplined. You got to know where everybody is at all times. You have to have your head on a swivel, as my old coach Bob Gansler, the 1990 U.S. World Cup coach, used to say to me back in the day. And Jalen Robinson did that to perfection.
for Cicerone in space. Steinwasser will come out. Flag was up offside for number 11. Republic coming off a big win against Colorado Springs, 4-0. Russell, Dami, Luis, Luther, all with goals. And what at the time was just a 1-point separation between the two clubs. And Colorado Springs winning tonight, beating New Mexico United 2-1. Monterey Bay taking down Indy 11 3-2. And in the East Coast, Lewis City and Charleston, a scoreless draw. Cicerone picking up. What was left for him? Roro's going to play this out to space to Gurr again. Rinse and repeat, Jimmy. Couple of Republics down to the box. Sacramento hoping for a foul, maybe more, and they'll at least get the throw here. But again, multiple Republic players making a run, making it difficult for Detroit City. Rodrigo Lopez curling this ball in, and easy enough for Michael Bryant.
Sometimes those passes might feel hopeful for the fans or hopeful for the guys that are playing. But I think they're really important when you see Rodrigo Lopez, Roro, just whipping it into the box in a dangerous area. It still puts the defense on high alert. They have to be on their toes. They can't relax. And obviously when you have a striker like Russell Cicerone in there, who's very active, who's very alert, I can't tell you, when you're on that side of it, when you're trying to defend, you're like, man, these guys just feel relentless. There's nothing that we're doing to slow them down. So I'm very curious to see what Trevor James does, the manager of Detroit City, what kind of adjustments he makes in the second half to not only slow the Sac Republic attack down, but also to generate more of their attacks that actually make Sac Republic suffer. I don't feel like we've actually seen them suffer too much this game.
As a defender, would you rather see a physical, imposing striker, or is it more difficult to defend maybe three different players making constant runs?
Well,
neither
I could do both, Rob, just to throw that out there.
Back in your day.
Yeah, back in my day. I could handle anybody thrown my way. But I think it depends on how the team is set up. If you have a big physical striker up top.
And Jack Gurr will receive yellow, sorry, Jimmy, there for the challenge from behind.
No, I'm a big fan of a nice firm yellow card from the referee. But if you have a big physical striker up top and you have a team that whips balls in regularly, then yeah, that guy is going to be a little bit more of a problem than maybe a couple crafty guys that just play in front of you all the time. But here's a look here, Jack Gurr trying to get back into the play. Maybe feels a little momentum, just mistimes it. I say just, he mistimed it. Proper yellow card from Jack Gurr.
Aldair Sanchez, look at that. He might be 20 years old, but I'll tell you what, Jimmy, there's a lot of veteran-like tendencies he already makes at such a young age.
It's incredible. And just his use of the body there, that understanding of not overcommitting, letting Connor Rutz make his decision on where that first touch is going to go, and then trying to go win it. That's not an easy skill, but he makes it look easy.
Gurr heading this one down. Keko from Vidiello originally. Republic are now building, looking for Cicerone. And air mails it just a bit too much, but Sacramento still in possession. Lopez feeling the pressure, finding Sanchez. Back to Roro. Jack Gurr, little dummy. A little bit of run there by Keko.
I think what everybody needs to take into consideration when they're watching this sequence is that even though the first cross by Keko didn't work out, Sac Republic still has enough pressure that they're now dictating another attack, right? They're still being dangerous. They're still moving Detroit City from side to side. They're making them run. That's just going to get them more and more tired. That's going to open up space, maybe not now, but a little bit later as those legs start to, and minds get a little bit more tired from Detroit City's perspective. When Detroit City right now is having an attack, it's just one attack. They don't have that follow-up. They're not, as I said before, not making Sac Republic suffer. They need to figure out a way to continue to push them back, and I think Sac Republic's doing that with real class tonight.
Wheat By Lopez, Cicerone, out wide again right. This time it's Keko, Gurr central. Driven ball well, here's Rodrigo Lopez trying for the header. Chance for Gurr, it just wasn't enough. Tried to go for the bicycle there, but Steinwasser saw that one, just dribbled towards his way, and Jack Gurr, one of the athletic players on this team that's just impressive night after night.
I think Jack Gurr's eyes just got so big. Visions of grandeur. He was already going to celebrate in the corner. Just couldn't time it right, but I appreciate his ambition, Rob.
Out left, Detroit City, cross coming, but Shane Wheat covering well.
This is a really important next 5 to 10 minutes of the game, especially for Sac Republic. Can they get into half with the 1-0 lead and make the adjustments they need to see out this game? And for Detroit City, can they find that goal, right? So there's a lot riding on this. And it's not, this isn't about talent or skill, Rob. This is about focus and a desire to make plays when that moment arises. And right now, Sac Republic's doing more of that than Detroit City.
As you're watching this Republic team and you talk about focus, it's the one thing these guys get on each other for is just making sure that they're clinical in everything that they do and they're hard on each other. They have a lot of fun together. Very close-knit group, but they expect perfection from each other, and I think that's why you're having the success early on in this season.
Another thing we just witnessed there, Rob, which I love from Sac Republic in particular, is that when they win the ball, and there was a bad giveaway there from Amumensa from Detroit City, when they look to transition, that first pass is to go forward. It's to break the lines. That doesn't allow Detroit City to swarm the ball, to actually get set up and put that pressure there. And Sac Republic is excellent at this season. If there's a stat for that, I'm sure they got to be one of the best at in transition. That first pass always goes forward. And when they look for that, it's so, so dangerous. They have to continue to do that to get this victory tonight.
Well, that's something Mark Briggs has been screaming about since the first day he was hired, is not going backwards. It's making a forward pass, get into the attack, try to spring something forward. And it's taken a while maybe to fully implement, but you're right, here in this campaign, it is fully on display and showing the worth as this goal differential now plus 12 on the year, having allowed just 1 goal on the season. And it takes pressure off your defense, right? Any mistake is probably not as critical, especially when it's going backward. Here's Jalen Robinson, and the flag is up.
A good discipline there from Sac Republic to hold that line, not drop too deep just to drop. And this is a good moment in time in the game to drop because, whatever, 5 minutes left, they're in front of us, it's not a big deal. But I like that they're taking pride in making sure that they don't just drop to drop. Now, with regard to Detroit City, I think they're trying to maybe do too much, trying to find that home run pass, I like to say, without maybe bringing some in. They got to suck Arnold Lopez out of those positions, right? They want to create those passing lanes. They're having trouble getting into those spots, and I think if they can commit one of the center backs from Sacramento, if they can commit Arnold Lopez to maybe get out wider into the sideline channels or closer to the sideline, that's going to lend itself to success. But they've just been trouble finding that one connective tissue pass right in front of that back for them from Detroit City. I mean, they've got some questions, and we'll see if they've got some answers at halftime, because right now I got more questions than answers.
And we talk, so cavalier at times just about identity and how Republic had been able to form one over the last couple of years, and over last year we saw what that translated to in the Open Cup run, and we're seeing here in this season as Jalen Robinson not playing that as cleanly as probably he would like, and now there's Sanchez was just waiting for that mistake. And now it'll be Timmer who will send this to Danny Vitiello. We talk about identity, and it seems that Detroit maybe doesn't have that identity that they're hoping to build quite yet, and that ultimately has an impact on results.
No question. Again, I'll go back. This is the 7th game that Detroit City has played. They've only played the same lineup twice in back-to-back games. Due to injury, due to form, due to suspension, and I think that lends itself to a lack of consistency. Who's playing where and when? You got maybe a couple guys playing out of position. They're going to find their way. Again, I'm a huge fan of Trevor James, and obviously they have the experience of being in the USL Championship for the first time last year and making the playoffs. So they can lean on that. But sometimes when you have some turnover in the offseason, it just takes you a few games to find your feet. And we'll see if they can kind of weather the storm. This is their 3rd consecutive away game, so we'll see how it looks when they go home. And maybe they get a boost by beating Minnesota United in the Open Cup.
That ball from Gurr looking for Sanchez. And you're right, a lot of momentum can be built off an Open Cup if you're able to get a couple of games, and it builds that confidence that can be translated to the championship. Right side here for Ballard, out of Louisville, Kentucky. To the right side he'll go. This one is just in the reach of Danny Vitiello. Outstretched, showing some athletic ability there. Those ones make you a little nervous. You're a coach, Jimmy.
Yeah, 100%. Ballard does a very nice job of getting the ball out wide. Good hold-up play there from Simonson. And when he gets here, I think he realizes and recognizes properly he's in a 1v1. Why not go at him? It's the attacking third. You're going to put Wheat under a lot of pressure. I think he lets Vitiello and Sac Republic off the hook by lofting that in. I think you got to go hard and low. Maybe you get an own goal like they had against El Paso. So he might want that one back, but it's a sign of intent. And so I think that's something that Mark Briggs is going to have to figure out in terms of how do we slow down Ballard if he gets isolated 1v1.
It'll be 2 minutes of stoppage time here in Sacramento. Luis Felipe in the 9th minute. Coming up at the break, we're going to sit down and have a little chat with Jimmy Conrad.
Oh, no.
Surprise questions galore.
I love it.
Now we'll talk about sort of what Jimmy's up to these days, a little bit of the state of U.S. soccer and how he sees this game building in the country from the time he played in MLS. And so all that and more coming up at the break. Meanwhile, here in Sacramento, Detroit City finding themselves down, maybe looking for just something a little bit extra. And there's some extracurricular activities that will earn a foul for Detroit, but a team that's trying to find their way. Republic, meanwhile, trying to stay atop of the USL Championship. 14 points coming into tonight. Simonson with Loudoun United a year ago. How about this? Maybe he's on his resume, scored a goal against Bayern Munich in a friendly when he was with DC United last year.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty not bad.
No, they're struggling right now under Thomas Tuchel, but that's a conversation for another time.
Row. Bryant went up high with it. Here's Maxi Rodriguez, and this one will just fall out of play, so it comes to Sacramento. Wheat. Connor Donovan, time and time again, you'll see him just sell out, very confident. You see sometimes players in between two minds. Rarely do you see that from Connor Donovan.
Yeah, I think he is the right guy for this team. He sits in that space in the middle of the back three. He plays simple, but he's aggressive, right? You know what you're going to get out of him. I think that's what you want from a teammate. What am I going to get out of this teammate in every situation? I know how he's going to move. I know what he's going to do, and that makes it more predictable for me as his teammate and my game and how he fits into the collective. So, yeah, he's been fantastic. And
3 or 2?
The whole back line has just been so solid. And then you have Vitiello, who can make the saves for you if anything breaks down. And I guess my big question for everybody, and Mark Briggs in particular, the coach of Sac Republic, is how long do you think this can last? You know, that's the thing. And how long can you stretch this high? At some point, there's going to be a dip. There's so many games. There's so many competitions.
Well, 38 games in league play, playoffs, and then it'll be another set. Let's just say 44.
No problem.
No problem. All right, well, that's 45 minutes and some change here in Sacramento. Luis Felipe, his 4th goal on the year, and he is just absolutely on a tear to start the season. They have Detroit down a goal as they go to the break. Missed opportunities from both sides. We've got a whole nother 45 to go. Stay tuned. Full-time halftime show coming up right here on Fox 40. Don't go away.
The fun has begun. The Apex at Red Hawk Resort Casino is now Northern California's premier family fun destination. Get your heart racing on this spectacular 3-level indoor kart track. If bowling is up your alley, there are 18 lanes of fun at the Apex, plus a mind-blowing virtual reality arcade, incredible golf simulators, and one of the best sports bars anywhere. We're taking entertainment to a whole new level. It's the Apex at Red Hawk Resort Casino.
This is the look of a little girl with big dreams, but only one last hope. A girl whose organs were shutting down as she was growing up. A girl who finally found her spotlight when she found her specialist. UC Davis Health. From the extraordinary to the routine, we're discovering healthy and changing real people's lives right here in the Sacramento region. UC Davis Health. Discovering healthy.
At SMUD, we're committed to zero carbon by 2030. We're creating more energy from renewable resources, reconfiguring our power plants to improve air quality, electrifying our fleet, greening our buildings, and accelerating clean energy with our first grid-scale battery farm. The Clean Power City movement is happening. For 37 ways you can join the charge, visit cleanpowercity.org.
Sacramento. Tonight's recipient has devoted more than 20 years of their life to preventing and eliminating child abuse and neglect in our community. As the engagement specialist with the Sacramento Children's Home, she works with families, social workers, schools, and nonprofits in the highest risk neighborhoods of Sacramento, providing comprehensive and caring support to help them thrive.
Tonight's halftime is brought to you by Modelo, Red Hawk Resort and Casino, and by SMUD.
This is the dream, everyone. To be good enough to get a pass from Leo Messi for an easy tap in, and what in the how does he miss this? It's right there. Don't overthink it. But actually, it reminds me of this miss from the 2005 Gold Cup final between the U.S. and Panama. And how does someone miss from here? It's just not possible. Who is this player? Holy, it's me. I must have blocked this out from my memory. And yeah, can you guys do me a favor and forget you ever saw this? Thanks.
It's Coach Jimmy, Coach Jimmy.
Over, happy birthday.
Welcome back to Heart Health Park, and Jimmy Conrad is in the booth tonight, and I just would like to go back. Did you have to have a kneecap replaced after that play? I know you were really upset about, not scoring the goal, and I love your self-deprecating humor there, to kind of call yourself out, but I mean, you almost
I didn't know I was coming on to relive the greatest miss in U.S. soccer history, but yeah, happy to talk about it. John O'Brien hit a great shot. The goalkeeper deflected it a little bit, so that's my excuse. Well, plus, that's not my job. I'm a center back.
Yeah, it seemed windy that day.
It was very windy.
Very windy. So, obviously, social media, you're doing a ton of stuff. Seems like you're everywhere, and it's really great, I think, for soccer in general. So, what are you doing these days? I know you've been at the World Cup. You might be going down to the Women's World Cup in Australia. So, fill us in where you're currently.
Yeah, I mean, you can follow me on all the socials. That would help, at Jimmy Conrad. But yeah, I do work with CBS Sports. I would do some of their Champions League coverage. They've started a new channel called the Golazo channel, which I think is very, very cool. So I'm part of their coverage with regard to that. And yes, I just got back from Qatar with Fox Sports hosting all their digital stuff. So I'm kind of in the new media per se, not the traditional stuff like you're doing here. This is a lot of fun for me to get out of my comfort zone, as it were. But yeah, I'm just trying to grow the game and to show everybody that how much fun this can be. And that just, I think what makes a sport special is that it makes you feel part of something bigger than yourself.
So you played MLS, San Jose, Kansas City, men's national team as well. From that time to where we are today in soccer in this country, I mean, it seems like it's exploded.
Light years.
Yes.
My first year in San Jose, everybody, we changed out of the back of our cars. We had to drive 30 minutes away from Spartan Stadium in San Jose State, change out of our cars, and then we had to, at times, had to wash our own clothes. I mean, it's just come a long way, and very grateful to see and to be a part of it. And to say, and in some ways, I played too at the A-League, where I was down in San Diego Flash, and not making any money. It was crazy. So just to see how far it's come has been unbelievable, and where it's going, too. I mean, we're hosting the World Cup in 2026. That's only going to be another springboard to something even better.
All right, final question. Who is the favorite player you ever played with on the men's national team?
Oh, great question. I'm going to say Eddie Pope, because I watched him. I studied his game because I wanted to be Eddie Pope. So when I got to play with him, I knew exactly how he was going to move in every situation. So I thought he was the best, and I love him. I think, what a defender.
And it wasn't Todd Donovan, unfortunately. So
was I set up to say Todd Donovan there? Sorry, Todd.
No, all good. Hey, it's great having you here on the broadcast. We're so excited to have you. It's so much fun. We had a whole 45 minutes ago. We'll talk about that. We'll go through highlights and what Jimmy sees for both teams. Can Sacramento extend on this league? Can Detroit back into it? Halftime highlights and stats are next.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Here on the pitch yet again. We're here with our contestant Matt. And Matt's here to play the progressive shootout. Here's how this is going to work. You got 4 different spots.
Beautiful night in Sacramento, high 70s, and it feels like finally springtime in California. Meanwhile, it still feels like the Republic are rolling out of the gate. They have a 1-goal advantage over Detroit City FC at the break. Let's get around some news and notes around the league. Let's take a look at what's happening and setting new roots. How about this? Oakland Roots, at least a new opportunity for the Roots. They've had some troubles at Laney, a college there, so by the Oakland Coliseum, unfortunately with the A's potentially leaving, might see a really great stadium for Oakland Roots. Love that fan base, really love playing there. It's been one heck of a rivalry already for Oakland Roots and Sacramento. And I know you've had some close friends involved in this club as well.
Yeah, of course. I'm very excited to see the growth of the game in Oakland, represented by the Roots. The fact that they might have this opportunity to take over what the A's are leaving, it would be fantastic for the area. And I am thrilled that it's Sac Republic versus Oakland Roots in the Open Cup this week. I think it's going to be a great game, and you really speak to the rivalry. The fact that anytime you can have fans travel to come see these games, I think it makes such a big difference to the atmosphere.
Absolutely great. Well, we talked about this, Sacramento being one of the best. Charleston Battery is still one of the unbeaten teams in the league. You know who the number 3 team on that list is? Might surprise you.
I don't know.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas?
They haven't won a game yet, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Let's take a look at our standings. 4 games played, 4 draws.
All right. That's something.
Hey, you know what? Phoenix started that way 2019. They went on to set a USL Championship record for points in a season. I don't know if Las Vegas is Phoenix of that year, but however, you haven't lost. There's a bright spot to look upon. Anyway, here's the standings as they currently are. If Sacramento were to win tonight, they did 17 points. Colorado Springs right behind them. San Antonio is currently tied, so it's going to be a shuffle. We knew that the top four were probably going to look the way they are, but Monterey Bay, big win again today. They've looked fantastic.
No, they've been great. I got coached by Frank Yellop, who coaches Monterey Bay, so I'm not surprised that they're doing well.
And I love going to Monterey. I wish we could play them every other weekend. All right, here Louisville City, Miami on ESPN2, Phoenix, Memphis, and then it's going to be a big one. I think by July, you really hope Detroit's starting to click a little bit, and you'll see a Detroit-Louisville City matchup where unfortunately for Louisville City, they got dismantled by this very Sacramento team right here in Northern California. But a lot of great games on ESPN2, and of course Monterey Bay and Oakland on July 15th. So that is all coming up. The USL Championship on ESPN, great partnership all season long. Highlights, stats coming up. Luis Felipe's got a big one here early. The fans are enjoying it. They've had a great 2023 start, and it continue. We got 45 minutes in this one. We'll have your highlights next.
Listen up. Why do you do it? You ignore the signs and the flashing lights.
Don't you see the work zone?
Seriously? Caltrans is working right there. Right next to your speeding car. My mom is out there. That's my dad's truck. That's my papa behind those cones.
So slow down.
Watch out for them. And be alert. How would you feel if that was your dad? Be alert. Be work zone alert.
This is the look of a woman who fought cancer for years with no answers. A woman who bravely championed her own health and found a doctor who'd do the same. A woman whose ending was rewritten when she found remission. UC Davis Health. From the extraordinary to the routine, we're discovering healthy and changing real people's lives right here in the Sacramento region. UC Davis Health. Discovering healthy.
How do you build a community that thrives? By staying active, by working and playing together, and by building strong bones and bodies with food that's simple, local, and fresh. Crystal Creamery has proudly supported Central Valley athletes and athletic programs since 2012. Because when you nourish a community, the community thrives. Crystal Creamery, simple, local, fresh.
Back inside Heart Health Park, Rob McAllister, Jimmy Conrad with you on the call tonight for Detroit, Sacramento. All right, let's take a look at that first 45 as you were thinking about how would Sacramento come out in this game. Well, they came out aggressive early on.
Not a big surprise. I think that's a theme for the Republic this season, but look at Roro Lopez doing what he does best, very patient. Keko getting it out wide to across from Jack Gurr. Rinse and repeat as we've been talking. Good hold-up play here from Russell Cicerone. And you get Luis Felipe, who finds himself in a good spot. He's joining the attack. But I like that he just gets it on frame, right? We got Nate Steinwasser, who's been one of the best goalkeepers in the league this season. But when you put stuff on frame, make him make a save. Fantastic, fantastic goal.
Another opportunity. Here's a set piece, and this one was another good look as you felt Sacramento recycling runs.
Yeah, we got a good look there. That header there from Shane Wheat, just a little bit off, but another good cross from Jack Gurr. Until teams figure out how to slow him down, Sac Republic going to have a lot of success.
Detroit had a couple of looks, really couldn't finish the one as we're about to get back here as a chances taken by Sacramento. Well, they're up there, but unfortunately the shots on frame is what probably Mark Briggs wants to see more of. Just 2 shots on target for Sacramento. Meanwhile, just 2 total shots for Les Rouges. So Detroit, Sacramento, second half beginning here And the Republic, with a Luis Felipe goal, have a 1-goal advantage. Looks like no changes for Sacramento Republic at the break. And the same for Detroit, so we'll go with the same 11 for each. Left side, Jope. He's been a bit quiet. He's a guy who can play in the back, play in the midfield for them. 26 appearances a season ago. This one takes a deflection. We'll head back to Danny Vidiello. So I'll begin with Detroit. You're Trevor James. What are you saying to your team?
Well, I would say to play with some more urgency. I think at times it's okay for them to skip the lines. They don't have to try to be Barcelona from 2011 or whatever it is, or Xavi and Iniesta. Sometimes you just need to hit the ball long and try to track it and see what happens from there.
Keko. This one will take a hop to Sanchez. Back to Roro. And if you're Mark Briggs, what are you telling your guys?
Well, to stay focused, because this feels like a game that could be a banana peel, as they'd like to say, where are you going to play to the level of your competition? And I say that with all due respect and admiration and adoration for Detroit City, because they have some quality in their team, but the longer you let them hang around, then they can maybe start to get a little bit of that belief and turn some momentum in their favor. Momentum that's been very hard for them to find. So I think that Mark Briggs is probably saying, got to stay focused, especially this first 5 minutes, making sure that we're setting the tone, we're setting the rhythm, and then we got to be ruthless, right? He's been talking about being ruthless a lot.
Keko colliding with Steinwacher, who was way outside his box. Amu Mensah able to get there, now Cicerone. Sanchez comes to it. Really good at sending crosses in, a left-footed ball here, and it's cleared by Detroit. And broken up, it will be a throw for the visitors.
I love that attack there from Sac Republic. Another example of when we get in wide areas, we're not going to mess around. We're just going to cross the ball. And Rob, that is super important for the other players to know, hey, I'm going to take a touch and I'm going to whip it in, because the Cicerones of the world, anybody bombing back post, they can time their runs knowing that that's going to be a cross in 2 touches. Sometimes we see some attacking players who like to do extra step overs or take that extra touch when they don't need it, and it kills all of the runs. The timing's off. And I think what Sac Republic is doing very well, very efficient at, is the timing of their runs, and when they get the ball out wide, everybody knows they're going to whip it in.
There's no N1 mixtapes allowed here in Sacramento, so.
Unless you want the wrath of Mark Briggs, of course.
And that's the one thing, actually, Connor Donovan said he had a conversation with Arnold Lopez, who comes from Venezuela, a little bit more dancing on the ball per se, and he said, look, USL Championship, you just can't do it. Guys going hard, and you're just not going to be able to play with the ball much. You got to move it. And I'll tell you what, Arnold Lopez, to his credit, has adopted beautifully, as Sebastian Herrera, of course, out injured the last couple of games, but both have come in here and looked just like they've been in this league for several seasons already.
Yeah, some great signings in the offseason for Sac Republic, and guys just fitting in seamlessly. So it really speaks to the coaching staff and the front office being on the same page about who are the best players for this particular system that we want to play.
It's not always about the best guys, right? We've seen a lot. This ball sent just across a little bit heavy for Detroit. Jope will get to it. And that's what you've seen here from Sacramento this season. They've added the talent with just the ability to play with one another. Detroit flirting around the box here, get to the point at the top. Rot's looking for a shot. Taking their time, McCabe. And it's Vidiello easy enough, just outside of 6.
Promising attack there from Detroit City. Got them in a good spot. First cross didn't go, still putting Sac Republic under pressure. Getting a shot near the top of the box. Again, getting another cross. They need to have more of that to really start to trouble Sac Republic in a meaningful way.
Ben Morris flying forward. Arnold Lopez digging it out. Here comes some pressure again from Detroit. Jack Gurr keeping it along the touchline. Cicerone slicing through. Le Rouge here. Russell Cicerone plays it out to some space. Out there, Sanchez. Just textbook from Sacramento right now. Luis Felipe, the overlap. Sanchez to his right, comes back to Keko. Keko will give it a ride. It's denied. And right to Amu Mensah.
What a play there. It all starts with Jack Gurr and his composure, getting out of pressure. Nobody really stepped to him, so he kept going, gets it out wide to Russell Cicerone, who does a little bit of magic there on the sideline to unlock the pressure, and a great shot there from Keko.
Felipe, right back to it. This one's bouncing around. Keko coming again. Jack Gurr will give it a ride. Jack Gurr hits it off the post, but he's got it right back, and he's chopped down in the box.
Wow.
And Jeremy Shear says, come on up, no foul given there.
I'd like to see another look at that.
Meanwhile, on the other side, Simonson is down for Detroit City. Amu Mensah working all the way into the attack here. We'll send it up over the top to the left side. Here comes Morris. 1v1 on Timmer. And again, Sacramento able to clear this ball. Roro finding Jack Gurr. Here's Keko running the seam. And Jack Gurr goes down low. The flag goes up. The whistle is blown, and Jack Gurr is furious. There is not more shown here than just a foul. Just one yellow card on the night, and that goes to Jack Gurr in the first half.
There's a lot to talk about here, Rob. I don't even know where to start. But let's take a look at this replay. Good play here, good composure from Keko. Sets up Jack Gurr to hit it first time, and unbelievable technique. He gets it back. All right, in real time, it looked a lot worse. I think in that one, I don't know if he has much of an argument there. That is a risky, risky tackle because the bottom of the studs are showing there from Mr. Bryant, Michael Bryant, who has maybe one of the best mustaches in all of the USL. But it worked out for him. He got the foul, but I actually thought it was a pretty clean tackle. I just think it's him showing the bottom of his studs there. But this game is starting to get chippy, and I'll be honest, Rob, I love chippy games.
Don't miss a minute of the action this season. Join the Republic and become an Indomitable member today. Visit sacrepublicfc.com/memberships for more information. Well, we've seen teams try to get physical, try to press high. None of it's worked so far. Detroit sat back a little bit to start the game, but has gone to being a little bit more aggressive down at goal. Look at this ball from Roro, just not enough to get through. As Jope will send it backwards, spent 2020 with Atlanta United 2 and then came to Detroit. Still just 23 years of age.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Jope because I feel like they need to get him more involved in the game. They need to get him doing more things. We've already seen some evidence of it here early in the second half where he's gotten some crosses, he's played some good entry passes into the box. They need more of that. I think that's going to put Sac Republic more on the back foot, a little bit more reactionary. So if they can figure out that side of it, maybe find some balance on the right side as well, then maybe they can space out Sac Republic in a meaningful way and then attack the spaces in the middle.
Turnover right back to Ben Morris. Ben Morris, the right side, flying through. Here's Rodriguez. Rodriguez centrally, and it's Connor Donovan to break it up. Detroit heading to the north stands here. The Norwegian, back post. Bouncing around, chance for Detroit to capitalize.
Yeah, what an opportunity there from Detroit City, unbelievable. Good ball, back post by Simonson. Maxi Rodriguez, I think that initial cross, he'd want it back. He's a quality player, and I feel like he's just got to find an area and hit it a little bit harder, or he's got to find somebody, and he just kind of put it in between. He didn't find that sweet spot.
Lopez has Cicerone to his left, elects to find Gurr on relief on the right side instead. Gurr slicing through, he's got an opening. Broken up, good defending coming through the middle of the park by Maxi Rodriguez.
I think that was an opportunity there from Jack Gurr to maybe slow it down. It feels like they're in a rush to try to go get that second goal as opposed to just, hey, we're gonna control it, we're gonna dictate the flow and the rhythm of the game, and now it's opening up gaps for Detroit City to potentially exploit. Unfortunately, it did not there. But that's where you want a Jack Gurr to just slow it down. Play it across the field. Allow your defenders to catch their breath. Allow your team to actually support you in a meaningful way. Right now, it's looking like a bit of a track race, or track meet, I should say, and that's not necessarily where you want to go, I think, with this game, especially as both teams start to tire.
Well, Connor Donovan just saying exactly that. You know, one of the leaders on this team, just slow it down, calm down, let's take a breath here. Well, there's a lot of action in Republic matches this year, and here is what you're missing.
It's improbable! It's indomitable! It finds
Opportunity again there for Detroit. So you talked about confidence early and almost stomping it if you're Sacramento, not allowing Les Rouges to get anything going. And feels like there's some momentum building for the visitors.
No question. You can see already, even here with Vitiello holding the ball, where Detroit City is trying to hold. They've got more numbers. They're committing and maybe taking a little bit more risk going forward, and I think it's working to their advantage. Sac Republic haven't figured out how to exploit that just yet, and I think mainly it's not due to quality, it's just that understanding of when to speed up the game and when to slow it down. I think right now they could really put Detroit City underneath it and put them under a lot of pressure just by keeping the ball. Let's combine 10, 15 passes. That is going to open up the chance that we want later on. So it's just having a little bit of that maturity that we've seen from the Sac Republic this season, but they need to show it right now, because I feel like Detroit City is getting back into this and starting to ask some questions of this back line.
At least emotionally, right? They're trying to feel themselves a little bit here. 484 minutes now. Sacramento has gone without allowing a goal in USL Championship play. Job, this ball's kept low. Morris plays it back centrally, bouncing around with it, trying to find a seam. Taking too many bounces around the box here. Here's a good chance for Detroit City. And it just misses wide. Maxi Rodriguez trying to double his total on the year. And that was your opportunity you just spoke about, Jimmy Connor. Making chances turn into actual opportunities and the goals, and this was one of them right here.
Yeah, he's going to want this back. Maxi Rodriguez, ton of quality. He scored a goal almost in a similar spot against El Paso earlier this season, and he put it not in the top corner, but it was out of reach of the goalkeeper. You got to put that on frame. We saw Ben Morris have that chance as well, Rob, in the first. You got to put it on frame. Make Vitiello make a save, and they haven't done that yet, and I think that's what's probably going to frustrate Trevor James the most, their manager.
Bounces in the Republic favor. Keko so good on the ball, weaving through traffic. Connor Donovan coming back forward, but here's Les Rouges. Rutz playing it forward. Rodriguez in stride. Has Wheat. Bit too heavy, and here comes a challenge and a set piece as Keko felt like he got the ball, but sometimes perception's your worst enemy.
That's Keko for me, doing the hard work of getting back into the play, but I think the phrase is he's on tilt, right? He's emotional because he did a lot of good work to get himself into that situation on the transition when Sac Republic had the ball, and he gives the ball away pretty cheaply, and he comes back in to try to help, which I admire, but here he's got to keep it a little cool, leaves his feet, and it just allows Richard Ballard to be in control of the play. And now this is a dangerous set piece here for Detroit City, and we'll see how Sac Republic manages this situation.
Yeah, apologies, you said Maxi Rodriguez was Richard Ballard, and now Detroit City with a good chance just outside the 18. And it looks like it will be Ben Morris looking for his first goal on the season. Just 3 goals in USL Championship play. Matthew scored in the Open Cup win. Morris, and he skies it into the Tower Bridge Battalion.
Ben Morris giving a souvenir to one of the lucky fans behind the goal. It's very nice of him.
I don't think you get to keep it, unfortunately, but let's give us a moment here to hear a word from our sponsor at the Office of Traffic Safety.
So you're out for a drink. Before that drink turns to drinks, make a plan to get home safe. Just call a friend, a cab, or get a ride share. Whatever you do, don't let drunk drive. Go safely, California.
Vitiello.
Yeah, great step up there from Connor Donovan. Just the reading of the game, it keeps Detroit City under pressure. Good switch there from Keko.
Sanchez has a bit of room, to find the veteran Lopez. Off of Robinson.
It's a good time, Rob, to maintain that possession here from Sac Republic. Don't have to be in a rush.
Well, Joe comes flying in from the back to take it back for Detroit, meaning that there'll be a substitution. The next opportune time for the Republic. Looks like Zico Lewis into this game here, and adds a lot of attack for this Republic team, almost a like for like, replacing Keko, who is likely to come out in this situation. Now remember, Republic do have a US Open Cup match on Wednesday, so it could kind of alter what maybe Mark Briggs would typically do in a match like this.
I think you have to look ahead, though. I think this is smart by Mark Briggs, especially if you're feeling that maybe Keko is being a little bit more emotional, just gave up a bad foul in a bad spot on the field.
Well, Zico Lewis has been fantastic.
Sacramento Republic FC's first change in the 62nd minute. Leading the match, number 7, Keko. Entering the match, number 10, Zico Lewis.
We hear you. I think when you're talking to Bryson and you don't respond, it's off headset.
Tackle!
Yeah, sometimes. player getting ready.
DCFC with their first and second changes in the match in the 72nd minute. Leaving match 26, Rich Ballard entering match number 2, Reese Williams. Also leaving match number 7, Skage Simonson. And in match number 27, Yazid Matthews. Substitutions presented by Medic Ambulance.
getting ready for Detroit.
Victor, 91 for 4.
91 for 4. 91 for 4. 91 for 4.
Substitution in the 82nd minute. Leaving the match, number 4, Jalen Robinson, placed by number 91, O'Neal Fisher Jr. Substitutions presented by number 17 for 8. Number 17, Luther Arshman.
A lot of bodies over there.
The other guy stopped one opportunity.
I mean, I lost to. I still do the same way too. I told my kids, I walk off. See that? Come on, come on! Come on, Arnold! That's you! Let's go side! Oh, you can do that, well done! Nice central, team! Nice central!
Keep going! Keep going, Jared! Come on, John!
He's still on the table.
Come on, boys, hey! Come on, step back!
4 minutes, here we go.
See you around, you got up!
The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 4 minutes for the end of the second half of the match.
Still on the field. He's still on the field. After the handshake.
Hey! UNC coach. Luis, now step up. Arnold's going to have to come out. So have him next to UNC coach. Let's move the challenge to the ball. Nel medio, porque sale Arnold. Move the challenge to the ball.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.
The fun has begun. The Apex at Red Hawk Resort Casino is now Northern California's premier family fun destination. Get your heart racing on this spectacular 3-level indoor kart track. If bowling is up your alley, there are 18 lanes of fun at the Apex, plus a mind-blowing virtual reality arcade, incredible golf simulators, and one of the best sports bars anywhere. We're taking entertainment to a whole new level. It's the Apex at Red Hawk Resort Casino.
This is the look of a boy who had no hope of walking. A boy who had his spine rebuilt before he was born. A boy who now stays on his feet and keeps mom on her toes. UC Davis Health. From the extraordinary to the routine, we're discovering healthy and changing real people's lives right here in the Sacramento region. UC Davis Health. Discovering healthy.